U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has decided to remove all the members of the CDC panel advising on U.S. vaccines. The news just keeps getting better and better. Okay. So looking at our ground news agitator here, it looks like this is a mostly center, if not a little bit left-leaning distribution here, just because there's only 14% of the right reporting on this. We've got 27% on the left, 59% on the center. 261 articles last night. We're up to 372. Again, like I said, I like to sort my agitator by factuality here. And then, hey, look, it's Benzinga. We read that before. And then I've already got an article pulled up here. I had it. There's like over 120 more articles here. So, but we're going to go over to the Anchorage Daily News because they said that they were a high-leaning factuality source with, excuse me, center-leaning with high factuality. And I love this picture that they have of RFK up there. So he just look at that. Look at that guy. Look at that little guy. Okay, let's get into it here. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on Monday removed every member of a scientific committee that advises the Center for Disease Control and Prevention on how to use vaccines and pledged to replace them with his own picks. Okay. Major physicians and public health groups criticized the move to oust all 17 members of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. Kennedy, who was one of the nation's leading anti-vaccine activists before becoming the nation's top health official, has not said who he would appoint to the panel, but said it would convene in just 2 weeks in Atlanta. Although it's typically not viewed as a partisan board, the entire current roster of the committee members were Biden appointees. Without removing the current members, the current Trump administration would not have been able to appoint a majority of new members until 2028, Kennedy wrote in a new Wall Street Journal opinion piece. A clean sweep is needed to reestablish public confidence in vaccine science. Dude, you're not the guy. You are not the guy who is going to instill any kind of confidence in vaccine science here, okay? When reached by phone, the panel's now former chair, Dr. Helen Keep Talbot of Vanderbilt University, declined to comment, but another panel member, Noel Brewer at the University of North Carolina, said he and other committee members received email late Monday afternoon that said their services on the committee had been terminated but gave no reason. I'd assume I'd continue serving on the committee for my full term, said Brewer, who joined the panel last summer. Brewer is a behavioral scientist whose research examines why people get vaccinated and ways to improve vaccination coverage. Whether people get vaccinated is largely influenced by what their doctors recommend, and doctors have been following ACIP guidance. Up until today, ACIP recommendations were the gold standard for what issuers should pay for, what providers should recommend, and what the public should look to, he said. But Kennedy already took the usual steps of changing the COVID-19 recommendations without first consulting the committee, a move criticized by doctors, groups, and public health advocates. It's unclear what the future holds, Brewer said. Certainly, provider organizations have already started to turn away from ACIP. Kennedy said the committee members had too many conflicts of interest. Currently, committee members are required to declare any potential such conflicts, as well as business interests that arise during their tenure. They must also disclose any possible conflicts at the start of each public meeting. But Dr. Tom Frieden, president and CEO of Resolve to Save Lives and former director of the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, said Kennedy's actions were based on false conflict of interest claims and a set of dangerous and unprecedented actions that makes our families less safe by potentially reducing vaccine access for millions of people. Make no mistake, politicizing the ACIP as Secretary Kennedy is doing will undermine public trust under the guise of improving it, he said in a statement. Yes, it absolutely will. 100%. We look back at this as a grave mistake that sacrificed decades of scientific rigor, undermined public trust, and opened the door for fringe theories rather than facts. No, it's opened the door for fringe theory to become fact in the public sphere. Dr. George Benjamin, executive director of the American Public Health Association, called Kennedy's mass ouster a coup. It's not how democracies work. It's not good for the health of the nation, Benjamin told the Associated Press. Benjamin said the move raises real concerns about whether future committee members will be viewed as impartial. He added that Kennedy is going against what he told the lawmakers and the public health association. He's going against what he told lawmakers and the public. And the Public Health Association plans to watch Kennedy like a hawk. He's breaking a promise, Benjamin said. He said he wasn't going to do this. This was all their game plan. Say whatever they had to get the seat and then do what they wanted to do. Dr. Bruce A. Scott, president of the American Medical Association, called the committee a trusted source of science and data-driven advice and said Kennedy's move, coupled with the declining vaccination rates across the country, will help drive an increase in vaccine-preventable diseases. Today's actions to remove the 17 sitting members of the ACIP undermines that trust and upends a transparent process that has saved countless lives, Scott said in a statement. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, a doctor who has expressed reservations about Kennedy's nomination but voted to install him as the nation's health secretary nonetheless, said he had spoken with Kennedy moments after the announcement. Of course, now the fear is that the ACIP will be filled up with people who know nothing about vaccines except suspicion, Cassidy said on a social media post. I've just spoken with Secretary Kennedy, and I'll continue to talk to him to ensure that's not the case. Okay, so now we just got to take Bill Cassidy's word for it that he's gonna. I'll make sure. I'll make sure he puts the right people on the board. God, the committee has been in a state of flux since Kennedy took over. Its first meeting this year had been delayed when the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services abruptly postponed its February meeting. During Kennedy's confirmation, Cassidy had expressed concerns about preserving the committee, saying that he sought assurances that Kennedy would keep the panel's current vaccine recommendations. The website that featured the committee's members was deleted Monday evening, shortly after Kennedy's announcement. Good times. Hey, thanks for watching that clip from Nightly News this morning. I'm Cousin Matt. Please make sure to drop the video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure that notifications are on so that otherwise, how are you going to know when my videos come out, right? Anyway, thanks, take care, and we'll see you on the next one.